Good morning. How are you this morning? Are you ready for today's wonderful and relaxing yin against the wall? So today, as you can imagine, we need a wall, and if you have one or two blocks, that would be useful, and perhaps a belt if that's necessary for one of the poses that we'll be using today. And just to remind you that when we do the poses against the wall, there could come a time where you will feel fatigued or in your legs, or perhaps you feel a little bit claustrophobic. Sometimes this happens to people. So when you feel that, just bring your legs down and relax for a while and then return. So as usual, always listening to your body. Okay, so let's get started. The whole of the sequence we'll be doing against the wall, except for the end, of course, when we come back just to relax, where I suggest that you lie down or you sit up, whatever feels good for you. Okay, so let's just get started. So coming against the wall, come as close as you can to the wall. And then bring your legs up. And the important thing here is to find a position where your lower back is flat against the mat. And the reason for this is because the whole, the aims of doing wall yin is that the back is neutral. And so this gives an opportunity for the back to relax. So if your sacrum is lifting up, if your lower back is lifting up, then it's not very good for the back. So let's try to keep the back neutral, so to keep the back flat. So this can change when we have different poses. So you need to adjust. So you adjust either by going closer to the wall, just by inching yourself closer to the wall, or by moving yourself away from the wall. So we're going to start today with the breathing practice. And the breathing practice, of course, is going to be lying down with the legs up on the wall. So let's just start by connecting, first of all, with the breath. So just the natural breath. Just connecting for 1 minute. As you're breathing, feel how the body relaxes. Make sure that your shoulders and arms are relaxed. You can have your hands on your abdomen, as I'm doing, or stretched out by your sides. So we're going to move now to the diaphragmatic breathing that we use, where we're going to inhale for 4 and then exhale for 4. And I will do 4 rounds with you, and then you can do a couple more on your own time. Okay, so let's exhale completely and inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just continue at your own pace. Do 2 more. Notice how your abdomen rises and expands like a balloon as you inhale, and how it comes down, down, down towards the spinal column as you exhale. And when you finish these rounds, just return to the natural breathing. Noticing how the breathing has helped your body to relax. How your legs feel more relaxed. And your mind. So this will be the default position in between the poses, because in between the poses we usually have the rebound pose, and this will be the rebound pose between the poses. So we're going to start with the butterfly, and I'm going to give you an option to make some sort of difference to this pose. So in the butterfly, we just bring the feet together and we rest them against the wall. So this is option 1. So as I mentioned before, make sure that your back remains flat on the floor and it's not lifting up. And that's option 1. And option 2, you could put a block between your feet. That's option 2. And then actually I have an option 3, which is to put the block between your feet and the wall. This increases the stretch that you will feel. Okay, so experiment with those 3 options and then settle down with the one that you feel is good for you. So I'm going to experiment with this one today. And so we're going to be in these poses for 5 minutes today. So get comfortable, and if you notice that your mind is wandering, what I would suggest to you today is try to continue with this breathing that we've done. So the breathing of inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. So let's just focus first of all on the target area. So remember, in yin yoga we have a target area of a pose, and that means that we're stretching a certain area of the body, and that is the focus. So it doesn't really we're not really focused so much on copying exactly what a pose looks like, but what we're doing is we're trying to find how that pose can fit our body. And so, for example, in this pose, the focus or the target area, the area that we want to stretch, is going to be what we call the groin muscles here, or you could also perhaps feel it in the hamstrings. And the reason I'm giving two options is that it depends on each person. So if I were to, for example, perhaps after a few minutes, my legs are coming down, down, down towards the floor, I will actually start to feel more of a stretch in the groin muscles. If, however, my legs are further up, perhaps the stretch will be more in the hamstrings. And so now that we have identified the target area, just a reminder that this is also a great way to practice some of these forward folds. What we call a forward fold is when we move the torso forward over the legs. So some people find that quite inaccessible. And so what's great about doing yin against the wall is that suddenly these postures like the butterfly or the straddle, where we open the legs like this, become much more accessible, and you can actually really feel a lovely stretch here. Just to remember also that when we are against the wall, the feet will tend to slide down the wall. So if you find that uncomfortable or the stretch is too much, you can actually put your hands under your knees. Okay, so that's all that we're going to be commenting on for this pose. So if you now just want to connect to your breath, and I'll just do 2 with you and then leave you to continue if you like, if this feels good for you. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now continue at your own pace for as long as you want, until the bell goes. So slowly remove the block, and we move to the rebound pose with the legs up the wall just for a minute. And in the rebound pose, it's where we notice perhaps more the effect of this pose. Particularly, you could notice a warm feeling on the inside of your leg. So we're going to move now to the following pose, which is the squat. So we bring the legs out to the side, so wider than the hips, and then slowly bring the legs down, remembering to keep the back neutral. And we bring them down until we feel a nice stretch. The stretch will be on the inside of the legs here, and perhaps we will feel them in the quadriceps. So come down as far as feels comfortable. And if you need to, you can also push yourself away from the floor so you can bring them further down. So in this way, this is actually a great way to do the squat, because for many people, the squat is one of those really difficult positions, particularly for balance, and perhaps for the ankles, it's particularly uncomfortable. But the squat is also a great way, it's a great hip opener. And so once again, if we do this against the wall, we get this great stretch. We don't have the uncomfortable sensation in the quadriceps or in the ankles, but we do have the benefit of this great stretch. So once again, connecting with the breath, and I'll just accompany you to do 2 rounds, and then you can continue at your own pace. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just continue at your own pace. You should notice now that your breath is perhaps slowing down. It is perhaps deeper. Also notice the sensations in your legs as the stretch becomes deeper because of gravity and the weight of your legs. Perhaps you can feel the stretch becoming deeper. Just enjoy. So once again, slowly bringing the legs up the wall for the resting pose. We're going to move now to the following pose, which is a pose where you may need to move a little away from the wall, depends on you. So what you'll do first is slide one leg down and cross the other leg on top, as I'm doing now. If this is uncomfortable for you, especially for your knee, you could bring your foot further up the wall, or you could push yourself a little bit away from the wall to facilitate bringing your foot down so your shin is at 90 degrees. So this position, the focus of this position is actually the side muscles, what we call the gluteal muscles of your right leg. So check in with that if you are feeling that nice stretch. If you don't feel anything, you can push yourself towards the wall more, or you can even bring that foot towards that knee towards you. Also be very aware of the position of your foot. If your knee is feeling strained, you can push your leg down, push your foot down, and experiment. Because this is the joy of yin yoga, that in each pose we try to find out what suits our body most. And so perhaps if you bring your foot down, you will feel more of a stretch. If your foot is further up, you could feel a little bit of pain or uncomfortable sensation in the knee. So always really important to focus on what is good for you, what feels good for you. And when you found that position that works for you, then relax into it and enjoy the stretch. Once again, returning to the breathing, counting to 4 on the inhale and 4 on the exhale. So now slowly slide your left foot up the wall and the other, straighten the other leg, and we rest in the rebound. So the reason that we feel sensations during the rebound is because we are essentially adjusting the water content in the connective tissue. So in yin, we stretch the connective tissue. And we need to do it with gentle pressure. And so often the effect of this is felt when we come out of the pose. It can be felt as a warm sensation, as a cool sensation. We can even feel it as an emotional reaction. We could feel a feeling of pleasure or perhaps a feeling of vulnerability. Just observe. We're now going to move to the other side. So slowly sliding your right foot slightly down, then crossing your left foot on top of the knee, and just finding what works best for you in this pose. You could bring your right foot up the wall, or you could adjust the position of your left foot on your leg, just to find that nice stretch in the glute area and the gluteal muscles of your left leg. And when you found that optimal position, focus once again on the breath. Inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 4. So the connective tissue, unlike the muscles, requires this gentle pressure so that it is stimulated, because through the stimulation we can heal and even help to grow the connective tissue. As you may remember from your years at school, through stress, the bones grow and the bones remain healthy. And if we are not stressing them, then they will degenerate. And the bones are also part of the connective tissue. So we have bones, we have ligaments, joint capsules, These are little packages which cover all the little aspects of our body, from the blood to the bones, and they're all connected. It's like a big network throughout our body. And this network needs to be stimulated to keep our body healthy. That's why it's helpful to do some type of yin practice together with the yang practice. So any practice where you are doing running or swimming or walking, it's nice to spend a few times a week doing some type of yin practice. This slow, gentle stretching. Because we need a balance in life. Everything can't be go, 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 active, busy energy. We need a time for the body to stretch and for the mind to relax. So slowly, once again, bring the legs up against the wall. So we're going to move now to the straddle, and for the straddle I have a suggestion for those of you who might find this intense. If you have a belt, you can grab a belt, because in the straddle we're going to open the legs as wide as we can. But for some people this is very uncomfortable, so what you could do is you could take a belt and you can basically use the belt to keep your legs stretched open, but they don't start falling too far to the side, so it becomes intense. So try this option and see if that is working for you. Obviously widening the belt if you need a little bit more of a stretch. So that's the option for those of you who'd like to try the straddle, but you find it a bit intense. So the straddle, I'm just going to bring my legs as wide as feels comfortable for you. And the target area in this pose is what we call the adductors or the groin muscles. Remember also that when you're in this pose, your feet will tend to slide down, so you can always bring your hands underneath your knees, or you can put some blocks underneath, just to prevent them sliding down too much and making it a bit too intense. Check in as well with your back, your lower back. Is your lower back flat on the mat? Relax your shoulders, relax your head, relax your arms. And then let's just focus on that breathing. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue at your own pace. Remember that this deep breathing that we are doing triggers what they call the parasympathetic nervous system. The system which is triggered when we are digesting food or when we are resting. And during that time, it's a time for the body to heal. And so when we activate that during yin or any other yoga practice, that is the time of healing. And that is often why you tend to feel a bit more relaxed. Your breath is slower, and your mind usually feels calmer. So once again, slowly closing your feet as if you're closing a book and bringing the legs against the wall. Again. The rebound, enjoy. So we're going to move now to the reclining twist. So that will be slightly away from the wall. So bring your knees towards the chest. Stretch your arms out. And then simply allow your legs to fall to one side with your feet touching the wall. If you find this too intense, you could take a block and put the block so that your knees rest on the block. So we're going to stay here for 5 minutes. So this is a reclining twist, and in the twist we are releasing any tension accumulated in the lower back, and actually the whole back, the whole of the spinal column is getting a nice twist. And because we brought the knees closer to the chest, the focus of this pose will be more on the upper part of the back. And if you turn your head to one side, you'll get a little bit more of a stretch in the neck. So just notice the stretch across your shoulders, across the abdomen. And return once again to that deep breathing, inhaling to 4 and exhaling 4. So the breath is the anchor of our practice. So slowly we're going to bring the legs, this time not upwards, but we're just going to bring them, we're going to bring the feet, the knees towards the chest. So just relaxing here for a minute. And now we're going to do the other side. So if you were using a block, bring the block to the other side. Oh, I already have a block there. Stretch the arms out and then slowly let the feet fall to one side, the knees fall to one side. And the knees could rest on a block if that feels more comfortable for you. And if you feel that you need more of a stretch with your neck, turn your neck to the other side, and to the side that is opposite your knees. It's possible that you'll feel a difference on this side. Remember, we are all asymmetrical. So there's possibly always what some people say, the good side and the bad side. So one side which will always feel more flexible or have a different feeling. But it could also depend on what you've done that day. So you might feel that one side has a little bit more tension because of possibly something you did that day. So it's just a way for you to become more aware of your body, because that's the focus of yin. Yin is basically an exploration of your body through the poses. So getting to know what works for you, getting to know where you need to put your body to find that nice stretch. And I can give you suggestions, but in the end, yin is a very empowering practice because it encourages the student to explore and to find what option works better for them. And often I've noticed that when a student has found the option that works for them, they never look back, basically. They're just very dedicated, and they can really feel how it is beneficial to them. Because after all, you're the only person that can know your body, because you are the one that feels the effect. The teacher can't. The teacher can just give suggestions. So slowly bringing your knees towards your chest and hugging them in. And now we're going to end as we began, with the legs up the wall. So just get yourself into a comfortable position where your back is neutral, and let's bring our attention just back to the breath. So let's just do 3 of these breathing techniques. 3 inhalations and exhalations. So exhale completely, and then inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just relax completely, returning to your natural breath. Just focusing on the effect in your body, the sensations in your body, and just relax. Enjoy this time with you. Your quiet time. Perhaps this little oasis of quietness that you will have today. So very slowly bringing your knees down, letting your knees fall to one side, and then slowly pushing yourself into a seated position. So thank you very much for joining me this morning. I hope you feel rejuvenated and ready to take on this lovely morning and this lovely day. And just to remind you, if you haven't signed up yet, I have an online retreat. It's an online immersion retreat focusing on yin yoga, with a focus on breathing techniques and meditation techniques. So please sign up. The information is on my Facebook page and in the Facebook group. And it will be 5 days, starting on Monday. We will have 2 sessions. one session at midday and one session in the afternoon. And it's a great way to get to know yin yoga a little bit more, and it's also a fantastic practice. So I hope to see you next week if you sign up for the immersion retreat, and otherwise I also have another session on Saturday morning. So please join me then, and have a wonderful day, and take care wherever you are.